Hello and welcome to our final episode of Ruck N Roll. Of course, it has been a fantastic season, probably one of the best we've seen on record, probably the best we've ever had, who knows. But it has been a stunning weekend of matches once again. We all thought that Trinity were going to lift the cup unchallenged and unbeaten, but that didn't come to pass. A huge loss for Trinity up in Pallekele, setting the Bradby up nicely. Royal with a big win as well, coming back against Isipathana. We'll talk about all those matches and much more with a highly anticipated show. We'll tell you who our winners were over the course of the season as well. Make sure you stay tuned to Ruck N Roll, episode 12.
Hearts racing fast, we feel alive. For miles and miles, let your spirit fly. There's no turning back, the road is yours.
German-engineered tires for Sri Lankan roads. CEAT car radials. The road is yours. CEAT car radials. The road is yours.
Hello, and this is our expert analysis segment. As usual, my good friend Abdullah Yusuf with us to look back at last week's matches, and what a final weekend of rugby. All the games going down right to the wire, not more than 1, 2, or 3 or 4 points in between the two schools at the end of it. It was a corking way to finish the season. This is the score 43-38, more than 80 points scored in this game, Abdullah. It was just one of those heavyweight fights, swinging one way, then the other. We lost count as to how many times the lead changed hands, but that moment at the end, my goodness, I've never seen anything like that in a rugby field. I've been watched a lot of rugby, even at international level. I haven't seen that particular set of circumstances come together. And for Dasanayaka to keep his presence of mind, dot the ball down and win the game and the second place, it just was an outstanding game of rugby. But you have to feel for St. Thomas's. Losing 2 games in 2 weeks at the last moment, it's got to be hard to come back.
Yes, it's going to be pretty hard to take, but again, they can be really proud of their performance. Just to push both Royal last week and Wesley this week right to the very edge. Obviously, they'll be very disappointed that they fell short, but again, that's how the game goes, isn't it? And for a decider, where even St. Thomas has had the opportunity of becoming runners-up, just in that moment, isn't it? It just comes down to those split-second moments, and Disanaga holding on to the ball when under pressure, dotted it down, and Wesley, runners up for the 2025 Schools League season.
Then a few kilometers away, we had Royal taking on Isipathana in the major Milroy Fernando Trophy, another grudge battle between these two teams. Probably the trophy that you covered second most after the Bradby, of course, Abdullah. And this also, I remember looking at the scores at halftime and thinking, wow, Isipathana is running away with this. But what a second half comeback.
Yes, well, you are not the only one, Shanak. I'm sure most in the ground would have thought so as well. But because Isipathana looked in total control in that first half, Royal were just not in the game at all. But the way Royal started in that second half, there was that initial break, I think it was by Yuan Pathiran, and from that moment onwards, Royal were just continuously on the back foot. We scored a try right after the commencement of the second half, and then there was a massive driving maul from about 30 meters, which brought back memories of the Royal driving maul of the past. And once they got that try, Royal were just on top. The crowd got behind the home team, and after that, Royal just continuously piled on the pressure, which unfortunately Isipathana could not cope with. And yet Isipathana got a score to get it back into the lead, and it was pretty much a mirror performance of what happened last week in Mount Lavinia as well. It was Yoshida Situmina who just picked up the ball after a couple of phases really close to the line and just went over to just sneak it at the end. So overall, another brilliant game, drama all through the entire encounter, and Royal just managing to nick it. But unfortunately, they won't be able to be getting that runners-up position because Wesley had that by virtue of having beaten Royal in the second round. So nonetheless, I think it was a really good game. Full credit once again to both teams for putting up a wonderful show.
Yes, I think Royal really have resurrected their season with those wins over St. Thomas's and Isipathana and winning those very important trophies. If they can ice the cake in the next couple of weeks, of course, everything else that went on in the first half of that season will be completely forgotten. But it's not often that we get a tight head prop who is match winner on not one but two consecutive weeks. And Yosita Situmina deserves really a pat on the back for the ability to just keep working from minute 1 to minute 70 in the games. He's just a tireless performer and outstanding performance, not just from him, but from the entire Royal team. Let's look at the big upset, though, that happened in Pallakale. The champions, newly crowned champions from last year, they waited nearly 40 years to be crowned champions. And just perhaps with that load lifted, the pressure taken off, they allowed something to happen that they hadn't for all this time.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even in the first half, though, I think Trinity were leading 20 points to 7. So it was, again, everyone would have thought that, okay, they have this in control. But it just felt that, they just felt that they had done what they needed to do for the season. But full credit to St. Peter's because I don't think no one expected them to come up to Pallakale and pull this kind of result off. So eventually, again, at the very end, with the last play of the game, managing to just get that try and get a well-deserved win, you have to say, for St. Peter's, who on their part also, it hasn't been one of the most memorable seasons for them. They've had a bit of a tough time off the field as well, but for them to finish the season like this, I think it'll go a long way in probably setting them up for next year as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Dusant Leuke is going to be poring over that game and just looking at where St. Peter's were able to make inroads into that Royal defense because they did do that quite a bit in the first half. Abdullah, I was quite surprised that the running angles they were using were really opening up some of those defensive channels that Trinity hadn't been opening up previously. So it was a really interesting performance. Good to see how they come back from this as league champions as well, and of course defending champions of the Bradley, which is not something they've had for a long time.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see. You're talking about the inside channels, or rather the running channels. I thought they used that inside channel really well to get behind the first line of the Peterites' defense. Unfortunately, they just couldn't finish it off on a couple of occasions. But as you very correctly said, it is something that Royal will need to keep a close eye on. And also, Shanak, I think just if you look at this cup segment, if you have to just go back to that review show we did with Laksisi and Sudarshana at the start of the second round, we were just thinking whether will there be any team who will go through the entire season unbeaten? And I think the unanimous thought of all of us was that it was not going to be the case. And that's exactly how it proved. So it shows in that cup segment how competitive it is that there were very rarely any runaway wins. Every match probably had one score difference. So it was a really tight competition, and I think it's just brilliant for schools rugby the way that cup segment went off.
No, it certainly was, and I hope World Rugby are watching because this is far more entertaining than the World Cup, guys. So that's expert analysis of the cup segment. Let's look at what happened to the plate. Another couple of games that came right down to the final weekend. We had Sri Sumangala drawing, only the second draw of the season. Sri Sumangala versus Zaira, 34 all. And the thing about these draws, Abdullah, it's not just a low-scoring draw, it's a high-scoring draw.
Yes, so again, both teams who love to run with the ball, isn't it? Sumangala got wonderful three quarters. I saw some of the highlights of this game. Zahira's handling skills was just absolutely brilliant, and not two very big packs. So both teams were willing to run the ball as much as possible. And the 34-34 scoreline, I don't think you need to say much more. Is that the scoreline says what kind of game it would have been.
68 points in 70 minutes. So that's the plate championship for you. And we had other results. And Josephs did what they needed to do to beat a gutty Anand side, a newly promoted Anand side. But they really did have some big boys up front, St. Joseph's, and they really tried. They started finding their way in this league tournament much later on. So they managed to get their win, stay in the hunt until Kingswood played DS.
Yeah, that's right. And again, another high-scoring game, high-scoring thriller. Probably the edge St. Joseph's had is they probably had the cattle to match up with the Ananda's 8. And I think that's probably what proved to be the difference at the end. And again, just going by the scoreline, you can understand the entertainment that that game would have provided for spectators.
Yes, it really was a fantastically entertaining game. Let's look at the other match that we had, which was pretty much the title decider. Kingswood, when they went into this game, they didn't have an opportunity to win the plate. They did the week before, but after St. Joseph's win, they had to do the mathematically impossible thing of getting 7 points, which they couldn't do. But DS Serenike had a very realistic chance of winning the plate and trumping St. Joseph's, which is exactly what they did, 37 points to 36. And my goodness, it was another hair raising, heart racing game because every time you looked at the match, the lead had changed.
Yeah, and again, DS Senanaika got off to a good start, isn't it? Good solid start. They piled on the points. They went into a relatively comfortable lead. But again, Kingswood just came storming back, isn't it? They just wanted to probably end their season with a win, just falling short. But again, full credit to Kingswood the way they have performed this season. And congratulations to DS Senanaika for annexing the plate championship, which is no mean feat considering the other teams that were in that competition.
Absolutely. It's certainly not a second tier competition. It is a top tier competition. And the competition indeed was quite fierce. And it was interesting to see how Kingswood managed to come back because you saw the bigger DS forwards just tiring a little bit towards the end of the final quarter. But then they had replacements to bring on as well. But Kingswood just stayed in the hunt, stayed in the hunt, stayed in the hunt, wouldn't go away. And it was a penalty try really that broke the momentum for Kingswood and gave DS that lead that they couldn't catch up against. So a fantastic performance from both teams. Great to see Kingswood Rugby back where it belongs, and hopefully they will go from strength to strength. And this will make for more junior players come through and play the kind of rugby that the first school to introduce rugby to Sri Lanka deserves to be playing. And now let's look at what the results were like in the Bowl Championship, which had, of course, already been won by St. Anthony's. We had Thurston taking on Science in a delayed game, of course, Science being very charitable and waiting until Coach Safni Nawaz came back from his duties in the Asian Under-20 series, where Sri Lanka came in second. But a superb win for Thurston against a fancied Science College team, I would think, a team with more tradition, more experience of playing rugby at this level. But Thurston have come along really well peaked at the right time.
Yeah, that's right. It was a really tough initiation at the start of the season for them, but they have gradually improved as well. But both these schools, you have to give them a lot of credit. They've really added a lot to the school season, the way they have performed. And again, this game, just the scoreline says a lot, says everything. Is that just 4 points in it, 33 to 29. Both teams willing to throw the ball, running wonderful lines, forwards, three quarters, combining brilliantly, and a really close game, which Thurston just managing to nick it at the end.
Yes, and congratulations to Sithitha Jayatilaka, the number 8 for Thurston, for ending up as the top try scorer of the season as well. A wonderful performance from him at the back of a scrum that's just learning their ropes in this division. And of course, Science College's captain Dilruan Pereira, who finishes second on the leaderboard in terms of points. Over 100 points he scored, Abdullah, just by himself, and that is a fantastic performance from him and from his team as well. Now we thought last week, we thought there might be a bit of an upset here with St. Anthony's already winning and maybe just taking their foot off the gas a little bit and Mahanam having a lot to prove. But nobody expected it to be this much of an upset.
Yeah, definitely. The scoreline, I don't think anyone would have seen this coming. But Mahanama just kind of threatened this kind of performance, isn't it, throughout the season? Probably their best game for the season. Fortunately, it came at the very end. But again, it's against the bowl champion. So really good on Mahanama, newly promoted team along with Ananda. So they definitely have not felt out of place in the top division rugby, which is great to see. And it'll be interesting to see in the years to come how they will progress from this season's performance overall.
Yes, it has been a really good performance from the lesser fancied teams, teams like Mahanama, teams like Anand, teams like Sri Sumangala, who have done brilliantly in the kind of rugby that they have played over the course of this season. And of course, coming into the setup once again is, well, not once again, but they're being newly promoted, Prince of Wales and Lumbini to take the place of teams Vidyartha and Dharmaraja, who go down, and 29 points to 26, Vidyartha winning the battle of the wooden spoon. But unfortunately for them, Abdullah, both teams will be relegated.
Yes, it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow for both those teams. Both teams have a rich tradition when it comes to rugby. But they'll have to go back to the drawing board, see what exactly went wrong, and hopefully they'll be able to make it to the top tier again. So as these are the two teams that will be coming up next season who have done really well in B Division rugby, Lumbini as well as Prince of Wales. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they match up in the 2026 season.
Yeah, it will be fantastic for them. They must be so happy that they are going to be playing at the top division of Sri Lankan rugby. And if this season is anything to go by, next season is going to be fantastic as well. So that's the expert analysis of the matches that we saw last week. And that brings us to an end of this particular segment of the show as well, because we've got no more matches to talk about. Actually, Abdullah, it has been fantastic reviewing this series with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure, Shanaka. Thank you.
CEAT Car Radials. The road is yours.
Welcome to CEAT's In Control segment, our final segment for this season, of course. I'm with Abdullah, and we're going to be looking at a situation where someone was in control right up till the last minute, and that's exactly what you get with CEAT tires as well. If you want that smooth, quiet ride, CEAT radials are built for it. With shock-absorbing sidewalls and that wet road grip you need, trust me, your family will feel the difference. And Wesley College certainly felt the difference with Dasanayaka's hands and how he remained in control right to the end of that game, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Under so much pressure as well. And also the awareness, isn't it? He realized that, I think it was Abdul Hadi who almost went over the line. Some brilliant work by the Thomian center, Liana Gunwardhan, I believe. Just a wonderful rip. And just his awareness, just to know exactly where the ball was, kept his eyes constantly on the play. And just that moment, Shanaka, gave Wesley the opportunity to become runners-up of the season.
Yeah.
So it just shows the importance of being in control of your emotions as well, because he could have very well been celebrating, but he knew that the work hadn't been completed, kept his eyes constantly on the ball, the awareness to collect the ball. Remember, he's a pretty tall man as well, so to get down from up where he is right down and just touch down was brilliant work. And as you very correctly said, wonderful control all round.
Yeah, he stayed low as well, didn't he? Made sure he got his body height where it needed to be and reacted so well. And that's what we talk about with CEAT tires as well. Your reaction time, you really need to make sure that your ground control is really good. And that's exactly what Dasanayaka showed. So congratulations to him and, of course, that Wesley team for finishing up runners-up, largely thanks to that brilliant effort where he was in control right through.
CEAT Car Radials. The road is yours.
It's time now to announce the winners of the Podhub matchup. You remember we started off this season by telling you to vote for who you think is going to win the games, and you guys diligently did that over the course of the season. And now, after 81 games, we have the winner for you. We have the main man who got the most predictions right, and we have quite a few close matches as well. And our big congratulations go out to Mohammed Ramzin Razak of Trinity College, Kandy. So they're not only champions of the league, but they did win the champions status of the Podhub matchup as well. Here are the other top 10 players who ran across the line with their predictions. And at the bottom place, we have 65% correct predictions by Suranji Sri Ranjan, Dulshan Damanupula of Trinity College, Pasindu also with 65%, Asela Chaturanga of Vidyartha with 65%, Umesh Basnayaka of DS with 67%, MFI Rahuman from Zahira College with 67%, 69% Samit Aberatna of Royal College, Vishwalutke, my old teammate, with 71%, Mohammed Fazli Wahid with 71% as well, and Mohammed Ramzin Razak with 60 correct guesses out of 81 games, almost 75% accuracy. Congratulations, mate. You will be getting your goodies, and please get in touch with us in order to claim them. Of course, we've been trying to get in touch with you, get you on the show, but please make sure you do contact us here at Ruck N Roll and pick up your 50% off your CEAT tires and also your 100,000 rupee cash prize. Those of you who missed out, make sure you play next year.
German-engineered tyres for Sri Lankan roads. CEAT Car Radials. The road is yours.
Some things are meant to be felt, not just seen good. At Singhe, every curve, every detail is an invitation to experience craftsmanship that transcends time. Crafted with absolute love from materials chosen for their grace and designed to complement the art of living well. Your home is a reflection of your story. Singhe is there in the quiet moments and the lasting memories. Built to endure. As time passes, they even feel more closer to you. Quiet luxury, lasting craftsmanship for a stylish lifestyle. Singhe Furniture.
Well, that's a wrap, folks. Thanks a lot for joining us here on Ruck N Roll for our 12 episodes. It has been absolutely a privilege bringing it to you guys. It's been a stunning season. And of course, we've been able to talk about it with you, talking about our favorite thing, of course, which is rugby. Thanks a lot to all of our guests who joined in on those 12 shows and made a real value add for the show, made sure that they entertained you, educated you, and brought you so much more than we would otherwise be able to bring ourselves. And we are really grateful to Singhe Seats for bringing us our guest spotlight as well. Of course, CEAT, who are our main sponsor and brought us In Control and many other things, brought you your tires as well for those who are our winners. Thanks a lot for joining us on our competitions and making sure you stayed engaged all the way throughout the season. We really appreciate all the engagement, all the interaction with the show that you guys have had, and many thanks to everyone who's come up to me at matches and said thanks for what you're doing and maybe given us criticisms as well. We welcome all of that. And also big thanks to Hamad and Venuki, our production team, for making sure that they kept the show rolling over the course of the last 3 months. And once again, thank you to everyone for making this show a possibility. We'll see you next year on Ruck N Roll.